Have you ever sat down to pray and talk to God, but the pain and the anxiety or the confusion that you was feeling was just so heavy in your hearts that you couldn't even find the words to say? You just sat there in emptiness and in silence. Or have you ever tried to make an important phone call, but your phone had no service whatsoever? Your connection was broken. It is so frustrating when you urgently want to communicate with someone, but the connection is completely broken. And that is exactly how our prayer life feels. When our hearts hold so much things we truly and genuinely want to say to God, but we feel like we have no connection to God whatsoever. We feel like the connection is completely dead, it's broken, and we can't get the words out. But God shows us a verse in Romans to show us how he gives us that connection. In Romans 8 verses 26 to 28, it says, "In the same way the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." So going back to that filling connection, when your signal fills, the Holy Spirit steps in and intercedes for you and becomes your connection. God takes your heavy sighs and your silent pain and he carries them all together for you. He transforms your silence into a perfect prayer. And that's the thing, a lot of people feel like they need these perfect words, the perfect prayer to say when they're praying to God. But truly, you don't need to use these big fancy words to impress God. You don't need it. He doesn't care about that. You just have to show up as yourself, show up as you are, come to him as you are. And because the Holy Spirit is handling the prayer and the connection for you, verse 28 promises us that God works together in all things for our good. So God is handling the prayer and he is also handling our outcome. Truly, you are never disconnected. When you feel stuck and don't know the right words to say, stop trying to force a perfect prayer. Stop looking at the lack of your words as a lack of faith. Just breathe, show up as you are, come to God as you are, and let God do the rest. The Holy Spirit is already holding your connection together, and he is already turning your silent pain into a breakthrough. And Romans 8 verses 26 to 28 shows us and tell us that. So trust and believe that the Holy Spirit has already taken care of the connection. I love you. God bless you.